There's a sickness spreading across the world. You won't see it on medical charts. You'll see it in the man who stays up all night rewriting the same email. The girl who deletes every photo because she doesn't look perfect. The student who gets 98 and feels like a failure. This sickness isn't laziness or insecurity. It's perfectionism. But not the kind that makes you better. The kind that makes you hate yourself for not being perfect. Here's the truth. Perfectionism isn't strength. It's self-hatred wearing a gold ring. As children, we were told, do your best. Be good. Make everyone proud. But hidden beneath those words was a silent condition. Be perfect, or you won't be loved. A child doesn't hear encouragement. They hear survival. If I get straight A's, they smile. If I fail, they withdraw. If I'm obedient, they hug me. If I question, they punish me. So love becomes a transaction. Approval becomes oxygen. And slowly, the child learns the most dangerous belief of all. I'm only worthy when I'm flawless. That's how perfectionism is born, not from ambition, but from fear. Psychologists call this conditional worth. It's the invisible currency of dysfunctional families. Maybe your parents were never cruel, just cold when you failed. Maybe your praise came only when you excelled. These small emotional patterns carve deep neural roads. Every time you succeed, you feel safe. Every time you fall short, your nervous system treats it like rejection. This is why perfectionists don't chase excellence. They run from shame. It's not about doing better. It's about never being worthless again. And so begins the performance. You curate your image, your words, your body, your resume, all to appear enough. But inside, there's panic. Because perfection has no finish line. Every success fades faster. Every compliment feels counterfeit. The perfectionist becomes addicted to control. Control over outcomes. Control over appearances. Control over emotion. But here's the paradox. The more control you chase, the less peace you have. Let's look at the brain. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and judgment, becomes overactive. The amygdala, the fear center, spikes every time there's risk of failure. So perfectionists live in chronic threat mode. A missed deadline feels like danger. A mistake feels like exposure. A criticism feels like death. You're not chasing success. You're running from humiliation. That's why even when you win, you feel nothing. Because your brain doesn't register relief, only temporary escape. Perfectionism isn't about standards. It's about punishment. Every flaw becomes evidence that you're unworthy. Every mistake, proof that you're a fraud. You tell yourself, I just want to improve. But what you're really saying is, I'm not enough as I am. That's not self-discipline. That's self-abuse dressed as ambition. Here's where it gets darker. Many perfectionists become high achievers. They look confident, accomplished, disciplined. But behind that mask is terror. Terror of slowing down. Terror of being ordinary. Think of celebrities who seem unstoppable. Robin Williams, Avicii, Anthony Bourdain. Each of them wore a mask of brilliance to hide the quiet war inside. Because when your self-worth depends on performance, you can never rest. And when the applause fades, the silence becomes unbearable. This is the perfectionist's prison. There are no bars, No guards, only mirrors. Everywhere you look, you see the version of you that's not good enough. You scroll through social media, and every post becomes a reminder. You're behind. You're late. You're less. You compare your becoming to someone else's finished product. You chase validation that never fills the void. Because perfection isn't a goal. It's an illusion that feeds on your insecurity. Perfectionists often think they're disciplined. But discipline born from fear isn't strength, it's slavery. You don't control your mind. Fear controls you. You clean obsessively because mess equals failure. You rewrite emails because one wrong word equals rejection. You overthink relationships because love feels unsafe unless you earn it. This is why perfectionism kills creativity. Creativity requires imperfection, chaos, curiosity, risk, but the perfectionist's mind can't handle uncertainty. So they produce nothing. They just polish the same idea forever. Here's the cruelest part. The more perfect you become, the less lovable you feel. Because perfection isolates you. Nobody can connect to a statue. You build walls of excellence, hoping to be admired. But admiration is not intimacy. You end up surrounded by people who love your image, not your soul. And when someone does try to love you as you are, you push them away. Because deep down, you don't believe you deserve it. Eventually, the mask cracks. The achiever burns out. The perfectionist breaks down. You realize the life you built wasn't for joy, it was for validation. Every achievement, every post, every compliment was just armor. And the person underneath? Forgotten. That's when perfectionism collapses. Not from failure, but from exhaustion. So how do you escape? You stop trying to be perfect. You start trying to be honest. You let yourself fail and survive it. You let people see your cracks and still love you. Because the goal isn't perfection. It's integration. The moment you stop chasing enough, you become free. Not flawless, not perfect, but real. Perfectionism is not about reaching the top. It's about escaping shame. But the only way out is through it. When you face the shame, when you look at that terrified inner child and say, you don't have to earn love anymore, that's when the prison door opens. Not with achievement, but with acceptance. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be human.